Let's take another look at the old dinosaur, Bitcoin. This is the daily chart for Bitcoin, and the data I have is to 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on December the 18th. We look at Bitcoin 2 days ago. That's when it was struggling to stay over this red line, which is a 10 days moving average. I expected Bitcoin to retrace and then retest this yellow line, which is the 200 days moving average. And I also indicated that I expect to see support, and then Bitcoin would eventually bounce up and run to about 51,000. Let's see if my prediction is still holding true. Yesterday, Bitcoin retraced, tested the 200, dropped below that. But today, buyers are stepping in. As you can see, there's a lot of buying momentum right now. Bitcoin is currently trading at 47,000 or up about 1.8%. Bitcoin is right at the point where it is testing this 200 days moving average. So here's the thing. Within the next few hours, if Bitcoin can continue this buying momentum and trade over the 200 days, then definitely my prediction would come true and we would likely see the uptrend to continue. However, a rejection of the 200 days moving average, and if Bitcoin close again below the 200 days today, which is right at around 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, then I would have to throw away my old crystal ball and get a new one because my prediction would be in the toilet then. So let's take a look at the 5-minute charts. See if we can figure out how the price would likely move within the next 24 hours. All right, so this is the 5-minute chart for Bitcoin. What I like to do is zoom in so that we can look at how the price behaved just over the past 3 days. All right, so here it is. So last time we looked at Bitcoin was right around this point. That when the price bounced off and retest this prior high at 49.5, got rejected. Then the price broke down, dropped below 48.5. Found some support at 47.7, but the minute it retests 48.5, it got rejected. After that, the price continued to drift lower. Broke down, dropped below 47.7, and then after that, we saw the price struggle and continue to retrace. Drop all the way down to about 45.5. Bounce up, test this prior high, get rejected, and then ended up close today, even though it's higher than the prior low, but lower than the opening. So that was not a good sign because the following day, seller continued to push the price down. As you can see, the price continued to retrace. But here's the positive side. The minute it dropped down and very close to retest this prior low at 45.5, we saw this buying support and the price bounce up. So this was a double bottom and a double bottom price reversal. Technically, the first target should take it to the high after this drop, which is right at this point. And that's what happened. We saw Bitcoin bounce up and eventually ran up and test this prior high, got rejected. Let's say if there were enough buying support and if the price can cross over this prior high, then technically we are looking at the potential for Bitcoin to run up by this much, which should take it to about 49.5. It got rejected at this point. So now we see the price retrace, drop below this dotted yellow line, which is the 200 days moving average. But the minute it dropped to about 46.6, found support bounce up. Another positive thing is 46.6 is higher than its prior low, and this higher than this prior low. So Bitcoin is setting up this uptrend. If we connect all this higher low, just move it up and extend that up. What's happening now is Bitcoin is setting up this little upward channel. And as you can see, every time when the price tests the resistance, it gets rejected. And the minute it tests the support, it bounces up. Same thing here, and right here. So now we see the price retrace, but the minute it tests the support, it bounces up. What's really important is right at this dotted yellow line, which is the 200 days moving average, there's no doubt there's a lot of selling pressure because the seller want to push the price below the 200 days. Like I said earlier, if Bitcoin closed today below the 200 days, then there's a high probability that the seller can continue to drive the price down. But at the same time, buyers are definitely stepping in and trying to push the price over the 200 days because it closed over the 200 days, especially over this prior high at 47.5, then it would confirm the breakout of this double bottom. Bitcoin would likely run up to about 49.5. At 49.5, it would be trading over both the 200 days as well as the 10 days. And if that is the case, then definitely this is the beginning of this reversal in price. Looking at Bitcoin on this daily chart, as you can see right now, let me zoom in. Just bear with me for a second here. Definitely there's a struggling between seller and buyer. As you can see right at this point, which is the 200 days moving average, there's a lot of pushback from the seller. Bitcoin trying to cross over. The minute it cross over, seller push it down. Then Bitcoin retrace, consolidate, and I'm pretty sure sometime later on, Bitcoin will retest this. And because of this potential double bottom price reversal, I do expect buying support and the buyer would eventually push Bitcoin over this 200 days. The next major resistance would be the 10 days moving average. That would be right at around 48,000. Again, I do expect a lot of pushback at the 10 days moving average. But I also expect Bitcoin to be able to cross over that and run to my target price of 49.5 and stabilize over that. Here is why it is so important for Bitcoin to trade over the 10 days moving average. Because if we look at history, let me zoom out so that we can see this. As you can see, around the middle of July, Bitcoin was trending down, trading below this red line, which is the 10 day moving average. The minute it crossed over that and stabilized over that, that was the beginning of this uptrend. Same here. The minute it crossed over the 10 days, we see this run up in price. Vice versa, the minute the price dropped below the 10 days, that's when we see a lot more selling pressure. Price continue to retrace. That's why it is so important at this point. Bitcoin needs to trade over the 10 days moving average and stabilize over that. Then we are looking at it run up to 49.5 and then 51 and then 53. At 53, that is a very critical price level. Rejection at 53, then there's a potential for this very nasty looking head and shoulder pattern. But in summary, again, I do expect Bitcoin to slowly trending up and should be able to trade over this 10 days moving average and begin this little uptrend. The key is the 53,000. Whether or not Bitcoin can cross over that. If Bitcoin can cross over the 53,000, then it is definitely on its way up. That's it for this video. And don't forget to click that like button and reward me with a like if you appreciate the content that I'm presenting. Also, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button and subscribe. And make sure you turn notification on. And if you have Twitter, make sure you follow me at Vietmaxim because I provide constant update on all of our favorite cryptos.